Hello and welcome back to the Single Malt Review with our 25 blind tastes of December for a bit of an intermission. It is either still December the 11th or it's December the 12th and you just haven't gotten to see the tasting today because it's time for a bit of a recap, catch up to see where we are, where we're going, where we've been and how we feel
Well, we
about
looked
it.
at 10 days and 11 drams thanks to that parachute whiskey we had to deploy after, frankly, my woeful display of trying to guess an Indian whiskey.
Yep, no, we were lucky to get away with a half there. If we even allowed it, the whiskey crew that assembled this will have to report back on whether it was a cheat to go back to go back to number 10 after taking the parachute. But yes, thankfully it was a very good, a very robust and smoky parachute that sent us down to a nice safe landing right on top of the eminently, thank goodness, guessable Springbank Distillery.
Again, not for me, where I had to guess further afield.
Well, that was right. That was the safety pick. I had the easygoing one there in anyone's book.
Yeah.
But we thought we'll just take a break, take a breath, and review where we've been. Take a look at what we've still got to go, and whether we've made whether the science has advanced, whether we were able to use any of these community clues that they've gotten for us. Because I was able to deploy a couple of interesting extra ones. So what have we still got? We've still got. Possibly getting more and more dangerous now, the 12-year-old 40%.
Yeah.
And as confident as I was that was just going to be just someone chucking in some Glenfiddich 12 as a laugh, which it may still be, there's a disturbing trend in the picks here. The more they seem like they should be something, the more they are not.
Yeah, the more obvious the clue, the more esoteric and frankly wondrous the whiskey is.
That became all too real when the 5-year-old age statement completely befounded us with being a locally distilled Thompson's and not the Wee Beastie. So there's fish hooks through the whole thing.
This is a masterful selection, honestly. The whiskies and also the clues, which have been designed to both elucidate and obfuscate us.
Yeah. And I'm thinking then maybe there's just the jokers in front of me, behind me, both at the same time, because the local barley and US rye was exactly what you think it was, and we got it wrong anyway. I'm still sore about the local barley. I'm still so sore about that. There's some sort of international list of people that have failed to guess Springbank, and they are not allowed back into Springbank. I'll have to put the double moustache on for that one before they'll let me back into that building. Good grief. I hope we're just a little bit redeemed for guessing the long row red, but
Fairness, we have never tried the Springbank local barley as far as I know.
No, I haven't. I feel that's maybe, or a bad excuse, I'm not sure. Anyway, we won't dwell on it. Next, we're still looking for an all-malt island blend, which is still a bit of a wild card, but I'm hoping for something pretty indicative, because I'm hoping it's going to be quite distinct from anything Islay, because like I said, you just make an Islay one if that's what you wanted. So fingers crossed that's going to be a slightly easy one. Blended whiskey by Loch Lomond. We've still only got the the signature, Loch Lomond signature for that one, and so that's hopefully if it's got that Loch Lomond. If it's got that Loch Lomond, that should be one we can see coming. But
then again, there could be a quirk, a twist, something we're not expecting.
And you know what? There probably will be, but nothing. I have no defence against that one. Then we have Central Otago, which we rounded down to a few options.
Yeah. It's either a whiskey from Central Otago, so fairly local to us, or an international whiskey, possibly Scotch, with some Central Otago character in the form of Otago red wine barrels. I just don't know.
But also, because we had the long row red for that, but we've just had a long row red, and you wouldn't put two long row reds in there, would you? No,
we don't know who else.
Only a monster.
On some Central Otago wine casks.
Yeah, I think we're still looking good for Kiwi whiskey there, but we will see.
Either Cardrona or another of relatively few options.
Then we got Japan, which I am dreading because we had trouble with the Indian. We're going to have so much more with the Japanese. So much more.
Unless
it's
one of
regional character.
Very distinct options. We'll see.
I'm not even sure I could name any. I don't think I can name a whiskey on the planet that I could taste and go, yep, Japanese.
Right.
Nope, not confident. So we'll see. We'll see. Manuka smoked malts. That's one where I've maybe done myself a favour by doing some more thorough research. No one suggested this to us. That was a bit of an oversight by the community. Come on, guys. But digging around, I found that Scapegrace, which is another local producer, they're more into their gins, but they've got a whiskey program out back, just like most of our gin distillers in this country. They do a Manuka smoked one as well. They're calling it the Revenant, and it's on like released 4 or no 3. 3 is the one that they're on at the moment, or still selling, I guess, for quite a lot of money. But anyway, Glenlivet.
You'd think it'd be one that'd be fairly easy to pick, but
I don't, because Glenlivet's one of those. It
is so whiskey flavoured.
It's as much as it's an iconic brand, it's a very typical whiskey, and for that reason I am afraid.
There's so many different expressions too.
But we'll see.
Tricky, yeah.
We'll see. New Lowland Distillery.
And Old Lowland, or established Lowland Distillery. They'd be two wildly different whiskies, but could have some shocking similarities.
It should be, and even the community couldn't decide whether, because there's this little trough in the middle of established and New Lowland where places like Isla Bay and Daft Mill live. If there was Daft Mill in this calendar, then I think no, it would be too much money even to send us a sample of that. That would just be madness. So who can say? But then again, there's the question mark: are they established? Because they're not remotely as old as the old ones, which are hundreds of years old, but they are far older than the new ones, which some of which are barely producing what the law would consider whiskey. So it's tough. It is tough. But I'm going to hope for one of the younger ones, like the Lindors, that should be conspicuously youthful and guessable by that fact.
Yeah.
That's best case scenario. And then blended malt Islay. I'm going to look for heavy notes of Caol Ila, and I'm going to hope, because that's really the only way I can see blended Islay malts coming. I'm just not as much of an Islay freak enough to say this is a blend as opposed to a single malt. I'll pick the Islay. That's not a problem. Picking whether it's a blend or whether it's a single, that's the problem. And then we've got Skye. Which I thought was going to be a pretty clear cut between Talisker if it's peated and then Tabraigue if it's more mild, and then people have gone and told me, Tabraigue is also heavily peated, so never mind. If it tastes super young, maybe Tabraigue, but I don't think it's hit our shores yet. So unless one came in specially imported, which I wouldn't put it past, I think it's probably Talisker, but it's probably a weird Talisker. Or it might be a normal Talisker, it might be a gimme. Who knows? Who knows? We will find out. And I think I missed Islay single cask there as well, which I'm going to cross my fingers and hope is Caol Ila, because they're all bloody Caol Ila. All the ones you can afford anyway.
Kill them and do some wild things of individual casks too. But we'll see.
Yes, that's true. That is true. All right. Well, that's where we are.
Look at some of the fun comments from our earlier videos. We had an interesting run at the start with Speyburn followed by Craigellachie. So Jason Coates, 1835, pointed out a lot of similarities between the two.
Good. Makes me feel a bit better. Because we did, in fact, proceed to taste the exact Craigellachie itself on the very next dram. And they are indeed only 8 minutes down the road by car. So.
Exia Sorigami Videos 4365, agreeing with Jason's, and they're both excellent worm tub distilleries.
Good. I think that lends a meatier character to the whiskey, some people say.
Triple Cap 4307 is clearly paying a lot more attention than me, pointing out, obviously, that Craigellachie original bottlings are all prime numbers.
That was news to me as well.
Yeah.
In fact, that they did anything beyond the 13 outside of a really special release was news to me. I thought, I'm only familiar with that 13.
And a shout out to Nigel Kelly, 8016, for the observation. Dave, I'm glad you didn't grasp the nuts.
No.
Aren't we all?
No, the nuts are, as yet, ungrasped. We've merely got Dave's balls on the table once again. They seem to be multiplying. But anyway, that's where we are. Goodness, I went 10 minutes on that. Well, what a waffle. Well, if you're still here, then thanks for sticking around. And presumably, the real dram is just around the corner. You won't have to wait too much long. Anyway. Cheers, Slancher. We'll be right back. And I mean right back this time. It's probably, maybe I'll set this one up for 5 minutes. 5 minutes after this one goes up. It's a real treat for you guys there. Don't even have to leave your seat. Go and get a sandwich, refresh your drink, get straight back in. All right, catch you then.